value creation within the Nigerian economy is of national strategic importance. And when I'm dealing with the topic, I've just added my own so that the petroleum sector will not forget their responsibility. So it's building a realistic roadmap for value creation within the domestic economy by the petroleum sector, a Nigerian content development perspective. Why I say this is that I normally start by emphasizing the point that the telecom industry in less than 7 years have impacted on Nigerians much more than the oil and gas industry in 50-something years. I mean, there is royalties and taxes and crude oil sales. But I think if you, whether it's Abuja or Lagos, you do it. Now, at the core of Nigeria's economic development slow process is the fact that really we've not extended the value chain within the oil and gas industry. Like was said in the morning, the Soludo needs strategy actually requires the oil and gas industry to contribute to economic development and employment through Nigerian content policy. We know the goals of the Abuja Petroleum Roundtable, and it focuses on using the petroleum sector as a catalyst for national development, and more importantly, vehicle for human capital development. I don't want to spend your time on definition of Nigerian content. We've heard a lot of that. In simple language, it is getting things done in Nigeria. It's not about earning commissions. It's not about giving a contract to a Nigerian who will promptly import it from abroad. It is about getting people working in Nigeria. We've seen all the benefits. I don't need to overstress it. Other than the issue of national security, I've asked the question several times to NNPC, and it's a pity the foreign affairs person is not here. If an embargo is placed on Nigeria, for whatever reason, how many months can Nigerian oil field operate? I leave you to answer those questions. Once you become successful, you get into trouble with people. When we start talking of value creation, in short, Engineer Kukoloku had a more recent version of this. This is actually a standard NMPC slide, but it's to show the value slide in major construction projects. That is, where is the money spent? You know, Engineer Philip Chukwu knocks off 10% between Netco and his people. You have construction taking 25% and procurement, which is split into two. The fabrication side, which is Dorman Long, Niger Dock, Ascot type, 25%. And within the boundaries of reason, manufactured item, or what I call proprietary items, because I think when you talk of realistic value creation, we know where we can go. In engineering, Nigerians have the best brain. Properly exposed and challenged, we can capture more than 8% of the 10% engineering on any project. Construction must be done in country. And quite frankly, about the 80% of fabrication we can do in country. We recognize proprietary items. What I call proprietary items: turbines, motors. Even when we don't manufacture them, by having procurement domiciled in Nigeria, we have a lot of benefit to gain. There is no point having a Houston company being a dealer to an Indian or Chinese manufacturer who then ships it, and then you import bicycle from China, you send it to Houston, and then Houston ships it because they have QA/QC. I think procurement in simple language That part is actually intelligent and professional trading. What are we doing so far to realize those values? NCD was established, and they've issued several directives, and quite frankly, the most critical component and working component of NMPC is actually NCD. And kudos to Engineer Kande and his group. All the agency, NCD, NAPIMS, they are working properly now. They've issued policy, but like Funshoku Kuloku said, a lot of the IOCs, they're actually waiting for the next government to see if they will pursue Nigerian content development with the same vigor. Because Nigerian content development is a major tool for realizing the values. There's a bill in the House. I doubt whether they will pass that bill before they go. It's a pity that issues of national importance are not given all the urgency that it requires. But if anybody is here from the House or representing them, it would be a shame that this bill they've been talking about since the past 2 years, they don't pass it before they go. When we say realistic framework, the truth is that there are Nigerians ready to work. However, there is resistance. Put bluntly, the oil and gas industry is a mafia. I know people don't like me saying this. They have well-entrenched channels in Texas and Louisiana, in Aberdeen, in Korea, and no matter how much you try, they want to make it not happen. Engineering side of Nigerian content is busy. We hope that once they finish their drawings and they award the contracts, construction and fabrication will become busy. There is a general reluctance. There are some, the good news is that the leading IOCs, at least the top 2 or 3, have come to terms that they will have to do something. But there is general resistance because it is taking away jobs from their country. And it has national political significance. So, in this our value creation, what do we do about it? What we must do about it is that we cannot keep transporting job. Every $1 billion contract keeps on the average 10,000 plus Nigerians engaged. Minimum. Every 1,000 tons of fabrication keeps about 300 Nigerians employed. And that's 1,000 tons of fabrication is roughly $8 million. So we cannot keep exporting our job. The problem with Nigeria today is that our boys are not employed. So the Federal Executive Council must back up NCD in what they're doing, and the Nigerian Content Bill must be passed into law. Extracting economic benefits previously held by somebody is not a friendship affair. You have to take it away forcefully until somebody knows that he will be jailed if he doesn't comply with Nigerian content development. They won't take you seriously. And so we must persevere. And for those who say there is no capacity in Nigeria, somebody told me the story that at the time Mobu went to Malaysia, I think in the early 80s, they never had a PhD in petroleum engineering. I think by that time, Joe and his gang, they've since graduated for years and work, i.e., Nigeria has been producing petroleum engineers since the 50s and 60s. Sorry, Indonesia, not Malaysia. The first topside that was built in Indonesia, the Indonesian president asked, what do you need for topside? He said, oh, you need a port and a deep. So I said, okay. How do they do? Okay, give it to the ports authority. And he summoned the ports authority to get on and do it. On something like LNG plants, if we build all the trains of LNG and Nigeria cannot sit back and design an LNG plant, then we've missed the main purpose of LNG. Nothing stops NETCO from being given an LNG train to build. Let them go and employ KBR. Not the other way around. I.e., you take NETCO plus a consortium of Nigerian engineers, give them 1 or 2 trains of LNG plant to build. Let Phil go, let the MD of KBR queue and wait for Phil as a subcontractor. In which case, eventually, Phil can acquire, NETCO can acquire KBR or Technip or anybody. The Indians are doing it. So, we must pass the law. And I had said earlier in another forum, things that must be done in Nigeria, when they are brought into the country, there should be a duty surcharge on them. And we've been talking of Nigerian content for mainly upstream, but we must make them all-embracive. The government policy to have more of our crude refined. If you talk to the conventional IOCs, the first reply is it is not possible. Now, if you understand their business model, the managing director of a Shell or Mobil or Chevron in Nigeria does not know how the crude he produces in Nigeria is sold within the global system. There is somebody at home whose job it is to aggregate all the group production and decide who buys them. So actually, when you are saying refine in Nigeria, the man in Nigeria as MD of the IOC has no authority to decide whether it will be refined in Nigeria or not. He transfers it to a pool. And so when we want to get Nigerian content, we must forcefully engage the industry, particularly when everybody is hungry for power and oil prices are high. So we must use the current environment to get the best benefit for Nigeria. We should not be timid. I always finish by flashing some of my slides to show you examples of what has been built successfully in Nigeria. And Nigeria can accommodate 1,000 Dorman Long. You know, the issue is not competition locally. Nigeria can do more, but guarantee them job. That's Shell. Everything you see here, we built. I won't read them because I'm short of time. Sure, this is line in our factory. These are gas lift manifold. These are the first time they are being built here. Most of the things we build, they are the first time they are being built here. And it's not rocket science. Obviously, we are backed heavily by engineering from outside the country and a little bit from inside. These are LNG equipment, which we've built. Like I say, it's not just marketing. It is actually, these are LNG vessels we've built. Even having built this, we still struggle you've built from train 2 to 3. When it comes to Okolo, they still question whether you can build such equipment or you know. And so these are surface equipment. We are surface equipment specialists. Everything you see in the picture there were fabricated by us. Like I said, it's not marketing. It's more to show Nigeria can do it. We can have several of it. And so there is a realistic roadmap for value creation in the oil industry as far as Nigeria, as long as Nigerians are challenged. We have international certifications. ASME stands for American Society of Mechanical Engineers. We are actually building a galvanizing plant now, as Ejeko said, and we have the only regional heat treatment furnace in our facility. Thank you very much.